Facebook live. Am I live now? So if you are watching this live, do comment in the comments below and let me know that you are live and say hello. Okay. So I hope you guys have had dinner already. It's in the evening over here in Singapore at 9 p.m. Yes, so today I want to be talking about forgiveness. And this is something that is very dear to me because it's something that started my journey in the personal development and growing myself. Okay, so I would say it is one of the core reasons why I want to be getting better, I want to be growing myself, and why I want to be someone who is better for my family, you know, at work and also for my friends. So this is really something that was life-changing for me. So I'm not seeing any. Okay, so I do see some comments over here. Yes, hi Robert, how are you? Yes, and good to have you here. So I know it's 3 p.m. for you in Sweden, so if you have any questions, do comment in the chat and let me know what you want to know about forgiveness today. So what do you guys know about forgiveness? You know, what do you think about when it comes to forgiveness? And it is something that I would say a lot of people will overlook when it comes to this portion of the relationships, because when we talk about forgiveness, it is because a hurt has been happening in our lives, or we are being hurt before, or we have hurt someone else. So it's something that is very difficult to visit because somebody will be blamed. There will be very strong emotions arising, right? Hurt, resentment, anger, all these very strong negative emotions will be arising when we talk about the topic of forgiveness, right? And most of the time when people want to be talking about their emotions and hurts, this is not somewhere they want to visit, or they don't even want to be looking at it. And most of the time it is a body mechanism that will react to protect yourself from hurt by not visiting this incident itself, or by not talking about it upfront with somebody that has done the hurt to you, or maybe even yourself. You know that you have hurt someone very badly, and you know that by asking for forgiveness or by explaining yourself, the damage can't be undone. So in this case, most of the time people wouldn't want to be looking at it. But whether this incident and this hurt will be with you for a long time, this is something that we don't know. And it's something that we need to be truthful for ourselves. So today when I want to talk about forgiveness, it is very important because this feeling of you an incident that may happen way long ago, maybe 10 years or 20 years, but it's still playing very vividly at the back of your mind, right? You can actually see what happened when you think about that incident. You actually feel the hurt, and you actually can see the image of the person that is hurting you. Especially when you are the one who's being hurt, you can see the image of that's happening, replaying in your mind very, very clearly. So this is one sign of you not being able to forgive. And the thing is, forgiveness is actually an inside job, right? It's an inside job, and it is something that we are able to be in control of. So why is this important, right? It's because when we are able to forgive, we are actually being able to free ourselves from the suffering that we are capturing, the suffering of the hurt that we are playing in our mind. So the first thing you need to know is that forgiveness is actually an inside job. Like, it doesn't depend on the person who has hurt you. And most of the time, when this thing happens, when you are being hurt, most of the time the person who is hurting you wouldn't be they wouldn't be affected by this incident for a long time. But for you, it may be kept in you for years. Okay, that's the thing when I say when forgiveness is an inside job. So when we look at forgiveness, it is actually a gift. Hi Charlie. It is actually a gift for ourselves, and it's also an opportunity for us to put down the hurt, to let go of the hurt, and to focus on the good. So this is something that you must know about forgiveness, right? It doesn't matter whether the person who has hurt you has said sorry to you. It doesn't matter whether the person remembers how badly you were being treated by him or her. Because most of the time, the people who have hurt you, they don't know better, right? They probably are feeling some kind of emotions, and maybe you are the one who actually hurt them first. You will never know, right? But there will be an incident, be it in childhood, in your schooling days, or at workplace, right, that you are keeping inside you. And it may look like a very casual setting, it may look like a very normal conversation that you have, or it may be in a crowd, right, where everybody is having fun, but you are the person that felt hurt during that incident and nobody knows. Maybe the person don't even know that incident hurt you. Even though you express it, that person will just think that you will get over it because it's such a small matter, but to you it's a huge matter. So when we look at forgiveness, it is actually an inside job for ourselves, right? It is something that we do for ourselves, for self-care, and for ourselves to get over the suffering and the hurt that we are keeping inside us. Okay, so this is what it is. And when you don't look at forgiveness, or you don't forgive the person who has hurt you, you are actually validating the hurt that is inside you. So what do you think this happens when you know that somebody is hurting you and you keep that feeling of hurt inside you? This thing actually gets played over and over and over again whenever you think about this person, whenever there is another person that comes into your life and does the same thing, but maybe with a good intention, right? Maybe it is just a casual thing, but it triggers your emotions previously. So that when you're not conscious of what is the hurt that's inside you, and you're not forgiving that person, there will be triggers down the road. Because usually when we look at emotions, what is your dormant emotion? It may be fear, it may be anger, it may be frustration, right? When all these emotions are being triggered by some other people or some other incidents, you don't really know why, but it's just triggering you, and it brings up this negative emotion to your conscious mind, and you thought that, okay, it's that person's fault, right? If this situation is better, then it wouldn't be turned out this way. He should have informed me earlier so that I wouldn't be late for a meeting, so that I won't be reprimanded by my superior, something like that. You will actually put the blame outside. So forgiveness is being aware of what is the dormant hurt that is inside us, and when people come into our lives and trigger us in this way, you can actually see the repetition of the same emotions playing out at work or everyday life, at home, right? When it is somebody that you live with, it may be your sibling, right? You will actually have this kind of I would say it is actually a kind of emotion that is hindering both of you, right? You wouldn't, there will be this block between you and the person. So again, this is why it's so important to be able to forgive. And when we are not able to forgive, we are actually giving the power to the other person to have power over our emotions. Does that make sense? Yes. So this is why forgiving is something that we need to be looking at every time we are feeling something negative in us. There may be some people in our life that we haven't fully forgiven of, and I will actually want to share with you how to do this. So alright, so if there's any questions, please do put it inside the comments. I will actually answer your questions down the road. So the thing is, I'll be sharing with you the first secret of forgiveness, right? So the first secret of forgiveness is to be the first person to forgive, right? To be the first to forgive. Let me write this down. Okay. Being the first to forgive is very helpful in taking the initiation to actually put down the hurt and suffering in you, right? Why, a lot of times when somebody hurt us, we expect that person to be saying sorry first before we are okay with our own emotions. Am I making any sense? We actually expect the person to say sorry first before we feel better. Now, yes, that person may be saying something that is misrepresentative of you, that you feel very hurt because your intention has been misunderstood. That person may say something because that hurt you and because of his own interest, right? So when this thing happens, we actually feel terrible, hurt and frustrated or even angry. It might be throughout the whole day, just waiting for the person to say sorry, right? And maybe the person don't even know that he has said something hurtful. It may be because for any reason that he's not aware. It may be because his work is affecting him. I'm actually using a lot of his in this case, but his or hers, right? It may be because of work. It may be because of some family problems that this person is experiencing. It may be because of this person didn't have a good start in the morning, right? Something affected that person, and that person just wasn't conscious enough and passed on the anger and thinking that you are gonna affect him, and in the end you are affected, right? So I would say, when this kind of thing happens, when you feel hurt, when you feel a certain anger in you, and you feel very deeply misunderstood, when you feel that you're being hurt by something that person say, and very strong emotions are coming in you, and you're thinking that this person don't value you because this person always shut you down when they don't listen to you, right? These things may happen in your day-to-day life, right? More than you can actually know. So when you're not able to forgive the person, you actually build up this kind of negative emotions, and eventually it became a block between you and the person, right? Do you see where I'm coming from right now? So initially the hurt and emotions, negative emotions is not so deep rooted upfront initially, but yes, there is a negative emotion. So when you be the first to forgive, right, it may be, it may be any reason that this person has, but it doesn't give so much power over how you feel at that moment and the rest of the day. So if you are able to do that objectively, you care about your own emotions more, care about how you feel, and not let another person dictate how you feel in the day or in time to come, then that's where you are able to have power over your own emotions. So that is secret number one, is to be the first to forgive. Doesn't matter whether the person says sorry, doesn't matter the person thinks that it is his fault or her fault, doesn't matter what reasons or excuses that person have. But as long as we have our negative emotion inside us, we know how to heal ourselves, right? So that we can enjoy the rest of our day. We can, maybe take some time off and just be with ourselves and be with people that we love, plug into our own music, and make ourselves feel better while we learn to forgive this person, right? Don't take it so seriously, because everybody actually have their own hurts, everybody have their own journey to go through for themselves, their emotional journey for themselves. So what we can do for ourselves is to be the first to forgive. Okay, so that's the first secret, right? Yes. And we are able to do that. We release ourselves from the suffering right from the start. We are not even starting the suffering cycle at all, right? And when we are feeling better, maybe towards the end of the day, maybe towards the a few days later, you can actually bring this up objectively to the person and say, hey, you said that the other day. Like, why do you say that? Is it something that I've done? Bring it up objectively for discussion, so that that person don't feel that you are blaming him or blaming her. Because once someone is being blamed, guess what? They will start getting defensive, right? So when you are feeling okay, when you're feeling good, and when you have forgiven the person, you can actually address this issue upfront with the person objectively. And I think that will actually help the person see objectively what he could have done better. Okay, so that's the first secret. And right now, I'm going to share with you the second secret. So this second secret is something that helped me change my life around. It is actually to forgive your parents, right? I'll let that sit with you for a while. So throughout our whole life, we do meet people at work, in school, that has treated us in a certain way, and we are not able to forgive. But the thing is, one thing that a lot of people don't visit or don't look at is to, hi Christian, good to see you here. Yes, it is to forgive our own parents, right? Many times we want to be looking at our parents, and we look up to them since young. Like, we look up to them because they apparently know what to do. They have already taught us a lot when we are younger, right? What to do, where to go, what should we do, what should we not do. And the thing is, throughout our childhood and growing up years, there may be things that our parents said or have done to us that we are not able to forgive. It is because it's so painful, right? The people that we trust the most, our parents, the people that we look up to the most, our parents, and the people that we live with and get security and assurance and love from, our parents, have actually hurt us in some way that we are not able to overcome it ourselves. So the second secret to this forgiveness is really to forgive your parents. So looking at it objectively, we are in an age right now. I'm 30 years old. My parents are already in their 60s, and my dad is still working very hard. My mom is a stay-at-home housewife. But the thing is, every time when I look at them, they are getting older. Like for the past 1 year, my dad started to have white hair. My mom started to have, be more tired, and I don't see her being so expressive. She's just physically tired, right? So for our parents at 60 years old, my parents actually, at 60 years old, I do see them, their health, they are more worried about their health, they are more worried about whether we are getting enough rest or not. So as parents, they still come with the love and concern they have for us. But at the same time, as we grow older, we have more power, we are now more educated, we are now more vocal, more expressive, and because of this, we are able to make choices or make decisions to be away from our parents. Does that make sense? If we are able to earn enough income, we would have moved out of the house because we want to be away from our parents, because they may be too controlling, and now that we are adults, we have the power, we have the control, we have a say in our own lives. They don't have a say in our life anymore. So I see a lot of people growing up in this way, where if they have a choice, they actually don't want to be staying with their parents. Does it make sense? If this is you have to look at it and revisit your childhood, revisit your relationship with your parents, revisit your relationship with each of your parents, your dad and your mom, and to see what happened during the childhood. What incident was it that actually still have that hurt inside you? And when I talk about this hurt, this thing, it's something that you don't openly talk about because it's hurtful, right? So when you can't be openly expressing it to the parent, to your mom or to your dad about it, or when you talk about it, you will feel this hurt inside you, will feel this resentment, and you will feel like you don't want to be talking to your parents. So this is the hurt that I'm talking about, that at such an old age, I wouldn't say old, but at our adulthood right now, for myself, at 30 years old, I'm still feeling very sore about my mom not buying me McDonald's when I was younger, because I actually thought that she favored my two younger sisters more. So in the house, I have, like, there are four of us, we're all sisters, and during that time, my mom only had enough money to buy 2 Happy Meals, and she actually bought 2 Happy Meals for my 2 younger sisters and not for me. And even right now, when I bring this up to her, we laugh about it, but I know at that point in time, maybe up to about in my 20s, I still feel very hurtful, because I think that my mom prefers my 2 younger sisters over me just because of this Happy Meal. Right? It's still playing very vividly in my mind. I was very angry. I thought that nobody loved me. I was seated in the kitchen floor. I was kicking and making a huge fuss over it. And the thing is, my mom had to explain so much that I only have enough to buy 2 meals, and you actually have your Happy Meal last week when you went out with your dad. She had to say this over and over and over again. And I know that at some point in time, I know that that was the reason. I know that it is only fair that, after I have my Happy Meal with my dad, only fair that she buys the Happy Meals for my 2 younger sisters. But it took me maybe about 5 to 6 years down the road that I actually was able to laugh about it, right? And to be able to openly talk about it with my mom, and having my mom and me laugh at it together. So yes, it's just this small incident that was there. So I thought that my mom actually didn't love me. Can you see how much impact this kind of small incidents have? So if you have such incidents in your life, you think that your parents actually didn't love you in a certain way that you want to be loved, didn't acknowledge you when you are making the effort towards your parents, or shut you down when you really want to talk about something that's important to you. So I'm sure there will be a lot of incidents like that throughout your childhood. Okay, so this is important to look at, because it will have it just, when you're a kid, interacting with your parents is the biggest thing, right? Like, you get love from your parents, you get presents from your parents, you get recognition from your parents, you get gifts from your parents, you get affection, physical touch from your parents. So as a kid, you do look up to your parents a lot, and the interaction between you and your parents is very, very important. Okay, so to you, it was probably like your whole world when you were younger. So when this kind of thing happens, do take a chance to look at it. Whatever it is, whatever happened, forgive your parents, because they actually would have made the decision, the choice, or done whatever they have done during their time when they are at the best that they know, right? This is what our parents, I'm sure my parents have done, I'm sure that's what your parents have done for you. At the best that they know, at the best that when they can handle. So let me write this down. Yes, so Robert shared that, wow, my little sister was just like that when she was very young. Okay. Living in my own house, like 20 feet away from the first home where I was brought on, I'm the only one with this year? Are you? Okay, so now how do you forgive your parents, right? Sometimes it is not easy to bring up something like an incident like this upfront and like address it with your parents. It's just difficult because of the dynamics that you have throughout the years, right? Maybe at this point in time you are busy with your work, you don't see your parents much, you don't have a lot of conversations, uncomfortable conversations. You just care for each other and not talk about something that you don't want to be holding on to. So it may be uncomfortable for yourself, it may be uncomfortable for your parents, but I'm gonna share with you 3 steps on how you can actually move forward with this, right? So the first thing that you can be doing with this by forgiving your parents is to write down this incident that happened. Okay, write down this incident that happened, and in this writing, during this writing, just go back in time, right? So what I will write down is, when I was 5 years old, I remember, like, dear mom, when I was 5 years old, I remember there was a time where you bought Happy Meals to my 2 younger sisters, Su An and Zi Yun. These are their Chinese names, but you didn't buy for me, and I was feeling very hurt. So address the feeling. I was feeling very hurt because I thought you didn't love me like you love my 2 younger sisters. Address the feeling and how that made you feel, and what that made you think. Okay? And I would say, but it is okay. I understand that it is because you don't have enough money at that point in time to buy another meal, and I already had the meal with my dad the week before. So write all these things down, right? Your feelings, what that made you think, what that made you feel, and now you understand because of what reason. Or it can be because I know that you must have done the best decision that you must have done the best you could have at that point in time, with what you know, with what you understand, with what you could give at that point in time. So write down the statement of understanding and say, for this I forgive you and I love you. Okay, so you write down all these things as something you want to be talking to your parents about. Write it down and read it out loud. When you read it out loud, you can actually read it and imagining your parent standing in front of you. Like your mom is just, my mom is just sitting in front of me, I can imagine that, and I just say it to her, right? When you write down and you say it to her, you say, I forgive you. Feel the emotions, okay? Feel the emotions and say it, like, I forgive you and I love you. So when you go through this process itself, it can be many incidents, but start with the one that is giving you most hurt. Start with the one that you can't let go of. Start with the one that it is very difficult for you to visit it and very difficult for you to forgive. So you may have to do this a few more times. You may have to find more reasons. You may have to write down, and you know that they meant the best for you, right? So you write them down and read it out loud to your parents. So if you are able to do that, you actually go back in time and forgive yourself from childhood. Like you actually live the hurt from childhood and you can actually move on. So the anchor in your hurt and emotions, it wouldn't be dated so far back, right? So the plan over here is completely forgive your parents until today. So maybe until today, when I see my dad, he is still giving me the very straight face, like I will be like, what is wrong with you? Like I haven't seen you for a week and this is all you, like he wouldn't be expressive. But over time, when I do this exercise, I would say, okay, Dad, I think I understand that for you you are thinking a lot about work, and sometimes you don't see me much, and maybe I don't communicate with you so often, so you are giving me the face, and I forgive you. Like for me right now, it's much more lighthearted, and actually I will find him very cute when he give me that face, because I actually went through this exercise. So my emotions, it is not anchored so far back in time where it is like a huge thing where I couldn't forgive my dad, right? It is right now, it's more about me expressing myself more, expressing my love more, because he grew up in an age where he wouldn't be able to express himself openly. Like I think the love that he gets is through scolding. The love that he gets is through cooking. So he cooks a lot for me, and then he'll be keeping very quiet, sitting at the corner and asking me to eat more. That's it. That is the best that he can show his love for me. So like I truly appreciate it nowadays, because when I see it, I know that it's the best. He's giving me his best, even though it's so little in physical terms, right? In physical terms, but I can feel it. I can feel the love in the food. I can feel the love when he drove all the way from the other side of Singapore to I'm staying in the west, so he would drive all the way from the east to the west just to pass me his homemade meat roll, right? He would do all this, but he wouldn't be able to express his love to me. So I totally can feel it right now. I'm able to receive it because of this exercise that I do. So that's the first thing that you do, to write down and actually express it verbally, seeing your parent in front of you, my dad, my mom in front of me, and I actually read it out to them, read what I wrote down to them, and I say I forgive you and I thank you. So that's the first thing, actually. Okay, so the second thing that you can do is acknowledge yourself. thank myself. So I would say, thank you, Andrea, for being so brave, for being the bigger person, for being able to forgive my dad, even though he's supposed to look out for me, for being able to forgive my mom, even though she is supposed to show that I'm being loved as much as my 2 or my 3 other sisters, right? So when I say this kind of thing, I actually thank myself and acknowledge myself for being the bigger person in a house where I expect the elders to be taking the responsibility of looking after my emotions, right? So when we grow older, we become adult, we have to be responsible for our own emotions as well. Now, if we can make a cup of coffee for our parents, like if I can make a cup of coffee for my dad, can I do that? Am I starting to look out for him? If I can text him and say, hey dad, how's your day? Instead of expecting him to text me, which all children, including myself, I'm guilty of it, which all children are expecting our parents to be providing, right? There will be a time where, other than financial that we are providing, we actually provide care, concern, love, support, assurance. Like my mom would be thinking like, hey, are you eating fine? It's time for me to assure her back, yes. And not just say that because I want her to get off my back, right? They can feel it, like our parents can feel it. If you do this to another person, that person can feel it as well. So have a genuine conversation with your parents, have genuine interaction with your parents. So my mom would be asking me the same question every time I get on the call with her, like, aren't you sleeping soon? Is work very busy? Like they will be asking the same question every single time. But because they don't know what else to be asking about, so maybe I can share more about myself. I can share that, oh yeah, today I spoke with this person and this person told me this and it's very interesting, and that's where she can actually give me her point of view. And she would be sometimes, it would just be a simple thing like today when I wake up, I actually couldn't wake up in time for my call, or I slept till 3 p.m. Just share something very mundane and simple with your parents, right? So that they can be asking the same questions, but we are giving them joy in their life. Because at some point in time, from our parents' perspective, we actually occupy a lot of their time last time. We occupy probably about 20 years of their life just taking care of us, right? So they may be asking the same question because they still want to connect back with us. And as a parent, next time maybe you'll go through this. As a parent, you actually start to see your kid grow older, going to school, going to work, and physically be away for you for a long time, right? Maybe even though you are staying in the same house. So how would your parents see this? Now, in their point of view, in their perspective, they will actually be thinking like, am I drifting away from my kids? Am I drifting away from my children? Then what am I, what is my life purpose right now? So they may be stuck in this kind of situation. So they will actually miss you dearly. They will miss you when you're younger. So I'm coming from this point of view because I want you to know, when your parents come with you with the same kind of questions, they actually are missing certain feeling that you are giving them when you're young. So my dad will actually be still telling me to eat more because that's what he connects with me with when I was younger, or to maybe one day he will ask me to play golf because that's what he connects with me with. And yes, so they actually will be finding the same kind of feeling they have with you when you're very young and when you're growing up, during the growing up days. So have genuine conversation with your parents, understand where they are, where they are coming from when they ask this same question that they will always be asking you, or be the same behavior towards you, right? So write down, yes, so I'm my second point. So to thank myself, Like, thank you, Andrea, for being the bigger person, for forgiving my parents, even though they are supposed to be one who looks after my emotions. Right now, I'm older, I take care of my own emotions, and I will want to be taking care of your emotions as well, right? So they have actually helped you throughout and give you so much love, so much care and concern, physically, right, verbally, and they give you so much care, and they provide you with so much up to this point in time when you're adult right now. Isn't it time for you to give back the same kind of love and affection and assurance and support, other than financially, physically, vocally, and in express it in your own ways, that your parents feel that you still have them at your heart. Okay, so it may be coming off as a cup of coffee, it may be just going out for a walk together to the park, it may be just picking up the phone and calling your parents. So that is what you can be doing. And the third thing that you want to be doing is to actually say sorry. You don't have to say it verbally if you are not comfortable. So say sorry to and take responsibility for the actions that you may have done during that same incident, right? Because I was hurt, I was sitting at the kitchen floor and scolding my mom for not buying me the McDonald's Happy Meal, right? So I would have said, I wouldn't remember right now, I only remember the hurt, but the interesting thing is I probably would have said something very terrible to my parents, to my mom. I wouldn't know. So I would say, sorry mom if I have said something wrong, or sorry mom if I behave so I overacted and blamed you for so long for not buying me the Happy Meals when you don't have enough money. So you have to say sorry on your own part, right? This is to really complete the process of making sure that other than you forgiving your parents, you actually will say sorry for the action that you have taken, the words that you have said, due to the hurt that they have caused you, right? Or you think that they have caused you, okay? So you still need to say sorry on your end and say love, like send love. So you can do this in the writing, in the same writing that you have written down what happened, right? Same writing, and actually at the end of the whole thing, send love to them, right? You can say that, I still appreciate you, I love you, mom, I still appreciate you, mom, for everything that you have done, and know that you are the best mom that I would ever want, right? Say, you can write all these things down and say, express your feelings towards your parents. So I'm taking a lot of time on this section because forgiving your parents is going to be, it has been a life-changing experience for me. It is going to be the same for you, right? I believe this very much. So to recap, secret number 2 is to forgive your parents, and what you can do is to write down what happened, what is the incident, write down your feelings, why I'm feeling hurt, and because of that, what you think, right, is a misconception that you have. So I thought that my mom didn't love me as much as my sisters, and write down, I understand that why you have done do that now, and I believe that you are giving me your best at that point in time. So write all this down, read it out, and say I forgive you. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing is to thank yourself for being the bigger person. Right now, I am adult. I want to be taking care of you, your feelings, your needs. Right, take that responsibility, as they have. Like for me, my parents done that for the past 30 years. If I could do that, the same kind of affection they have given me for the next 30 years, I want to do that for my parents. And the third thing is to say sorry for my actions that I have done because of me feeling hurt as a result of the incident that happened. So these 3 things, put it all in writing. It can it can be in verbal if you are really brave enough to do that. For me, I started off by writing them all of them down, right? And I actually go through this again and again and again until I feel that I have gone past that hurtful incident. And right now I actually can be talking about it in a funny way, like as a joke, right? I actually gotten over it. So when you feel this way, you will actually realize that the dormant negative feelings in you, the anger, frustration, it can be fear. A lot of times it can be fear. It will be more manageable for you, right? Once you forgive your parents, it's going to be a huge part for you, and I'm sure when you do this, it's going to change. Things are going to change for you. Okay. So the third secret number 3 that I'm going to share with you is affirmations, right? So when we look at secret number 2, it's a huge part of your forgiveness because it is a hurt that has been in you for a long time, right? And because of that, right, our upbringing, our environment, our experience or exposure to the people who guide us along since young has a huge impact in us. Okay, so just imagine, because I think that my mom didn't love me as much as my 2 sisters, what could be the result? I may feel that I'm not worthy of love. I may feel that I'm not better than my sisters. I may feel that, so this would give me problems that down the road where I feel that I'm not confident enough because I'm not good enough as a person. I may feel inadequate when I'm in a crowd, right? Just because I don't get acknowledgement, affirmation, or just because these incidents happened during my childhood days or my growing up years. And the thing is, when you go out with this feeling as a dormant feeling, at the back of your head, it may happen 20 years ago, but you're still carrying that hurt inside you. What happens is you may feel that you're not worthy, you're not loved, right? You're not someone who is deserving of happiness. You're not someone who is deserving of praise. So you would have put a lot of pressure on yourself thinking that you're not enough. And a lot of times when you feel that you're not enough, it may be due to your childhood, okay? And nobody can actually help you get out of this yourself until you master that strength inside of you, okay? And to do that, it is through affirmations, right? Affirmations are very, very powerful because that is where you self-empower yourself, right? You give the power back to yourself. You no longer let anybody hurt you, no longer let anybody say that you're not enough, you're not good, you're not worthy. So the third secret is affirmations. Okay? Yes. So right now you have the power to love yourself. Can you see how powerful it is? You have the power to actually empower yourself, right? What are you going to write down? You're going to write down a whole list, right, of 10, 20 things that you want to be. I am worthy of love. I am worthy of happiness. I deserve the best in the world, right? I deserve to feel great. I deserve to be loved. I deserve to meet the love of my life, right? I deserve to be someone who is wealthy, right? So I become someone who is able to receive. Can you see how this works right now? Like, because of the hurt that you have put down, you are right now able to give. And when you're able to give, what comes back? More happiness, more love, more joy comes back. It may come back in terms of acknowledgement, in terms of encouragement, support. It may come back in terms of gifts, right? In terms of food, and more help. It may come back in terms of money, right? Somebody actually wants to give you a token of appreciation through gifts, through money. They want to pay you because you have helped them change their life, right? So now, if you are able to do this in the third, I just missed it out. In the third thing that I say, affirmations, is when you open up your channel for receiving. Okay, because you know that you are worthy, you know that you are able to give love now, you are able to receive love, right? You are able to give help and support right now, you are able to receive acknowledgement, gifts from people, you are able to receive money from people, right? So affirmations will make you know that you are worthy of all the good things that are to be coming your way. Okay? Yes, so Sean said, our parents are always doing their best. That is for sure. Like, that is no doubt. Okay? So, yes, affirmations are, Charlene said, affirmations are so powerful and so underused. And that is correct. Because right now you are giving yourself back the power, okay, of how you want to be feeling, of how you feel about yourself. Can you see where this is going? Now you feel great about yourself, you know that you are worthy, you know that you deserve the best, you know that you are the origin of happiness, you are the origin of fun, of joy, of happiness. Now you have full control of your life right now. Okay? And you are able to receive all this good. The thing is, the more that you receive, you are able to give more. So, to look at all these three things about forgiveness, let me go back again. So, this is the 3 secrets I have for you today about forgiveness. And if you are able to do this, be the first to forgive your parents, and affirm yourself that you are worthy, okay? Because the thing is, nobody is able to dictate the feelings that you have anymore, right? Because at any point in time, you can be the first to forgive. You have the power, you have full control, right? Now you are able to forgive, and so it will be good to start by forgiving your parents, because those hurts are the ones that people grow up with and not visiting. And if you are able to do that, look at how much love and joy you will be attracting in your life when you raise all your feelings and emotional frequencies up. Okay, so the lower frequencies are anger, fear, resentment. All these lower vibrational frequencies, they will affect you in your work. If you're in sales, you affect the clients that you meet. It will affect you, the bosses that you are working with, the colleagues that you have. Okay, so these are all related in the people that you meet, and this is actually a key factor of relationship. Okay, and the loved one that you meet, right, they may trigger some dormant negative emotions that you have, and you just keep triggering these dormant emotions that you have, and you think that it's that person, so you just keep changing partners. But after maybe 3 or 5 different people that you've dated, you can actually see the pattern, right? Some things will keep occurring in your relationship, right? And back then, that was what happened to me, and I didn't know why, but I know that I have a problem inside me. So I started by forgiving my parents, right? And the third thing that you can be using is affirmations. Okay, this is where you have full power over yourself. This is where you are able to self-love, self-empower yourself. Okay, and when you are able to do this every single day, can you imagine how far you will go, right? And once you empower yourself, you can start empowering people. And when you empower people, people are giving you that same cycle of love, support, right, and assurance that you have throughout in your career, in your relationships, okay, even within your family itself. Now, this is how, by starting with forgiveness, you are able to build stronger relationships, and in time to come, that's where your work starts to become better, your career flies, your business, right, will start to soar, and that's where you will meet the love of your life, and that's where you have strong relationships in your family. It may take time. I wouldn't say that this is something that will happen overnight, but if you make a decision and go through with these 3 secrets, I'm sure that you will be able to quickly see results in the way you feel, in your emotions, and the way you interact with people, and you will start seeing good kind of relationships, right? Over time, you'll build these strong, positive, uplifting relationships for yourself in your business and your career, in your own personal love life, as well as in your family. Okay, so that's it for me that I have today, and I'm gonna leave this on for a few more minutes for questions. If you have, put it inside the comments, and I would see how. Let me know if this has helped you, and also if you have any questions, put in the comments. Okay. Yes, Shailin, you are worthy. Yes, Robert, you are loved and you will love others. Okay. If there's nothing else, I will be going off, and that's it from me tonight. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for coming on to this live. I will be coming on live again in the next week to talk about something about relationships. So if there's anything that you want to know or learn more about relationships, any questions that you have, you can send me as in Messenger, or you can actually send me, if it's something private, you can send me also in Telegram at Andrea Xlum, AndreaXlum on Telegram, Facebook Messenger, or if not, you can put in the comments below. If you are watching this on YouTube, do remember to click subscribe and hit the notification bell so you will be notified when I'm coming on live the next time. So that's it from me, and thank you guys. Have a great evening.